I don't think that the current socialist economic system works. Central government planning, manipulation of interest rates, the constant creation of inflation. Inflation is not new. That's how the government has been bailing out the markets from the crises it created with its subsidies and artificially low interest rates. So now the inflation is moving from financial assets into real goods in a way that government statistics can no longer hide, because the actual rate that prices are rising is probably twice what the government admits. And this is not a transitory situation. This is the tip of an inflationary iceberg. And what we need to do is abandon this system we have now and go back to free market capitalism, laissez-faire, sound money. That is the only path back to prosperity.
Professor Wolff, I want your response to that, because, I mean, Peter kind of started that comment out by calling basically the Biden administration's agenda a socialist agenda. And you, as somebody who's written extensively about socialism, I would say you would strongly disagree that Biden's policies are a socialist agenda, and he more is in line with what would be free market capitalism, correct?
Certainly by putting Mr. Powell back in there. Mr. Powell has been an enthusiastic supporter of the capitalist system, a very vocal opponent of the socialism. One could argue whether he understands what it is he's against, but nonetheless, he's clearly against it. There's absolutely nothing in Mr. Biden's portfolio that has anything to do with socialism. He's proud of having been the senator from Delaware, which is the home of most of our large corporations because they're so favorable. But I don't want to get into a debate about what the words mean. I think the important thing is that if they were to go backwards, and I agree with Peter Schiff, what he's proposing is that we go backwards, which is a position I wouldn't be so eager to support, to be as polite as I know how. I want to go forward. I want to ask and answer the question, what are the real causes of being in this dead end? I know it's fashionable to blame the government, but I look at the American government and I see something that's a creature of the private capitalist system and always has been. That creature doesn't do his job real well, that in fact the government can sometimes make it worse than what it was, doesn't change the basic relationship, which is the people with the money control the government, and they have in the history of this country, and they are at least as responsible for the dead end as anything the government ever did.
If Biden were a capitalist, he would be advocating for less government, not more. He would want to cut government spending, not dramatically increase it. And Powell is not part of capitalism. He is the antithesis. This is central government planning. This is price fixing of interest rates. The Federal Reserve has nothing to do with capitalism. Under a capitalistic system, the market would set interest rates, not the Federal Reserve. And under capitalism, we would have sound money, not the fiat money that's manufactured by the Federal Reserve. So your problems are not with capitalism. They're with these socialist institutions that are creatures of government.